And you can see my results here. Notice I only calculated one time the 1 divided by 52. It's not going to change when I do it again for row 5 and 6, so I only had to calculate one time and then just write it down 3 different times. Now we're ready to answer some questions about this distribution. What is the most popular number of pets in a household? Well, I think we know no pets is the most popular. We'd like to kind of expand this idea. This is what we call a summary table. We'd like to kind of expand the idea of a summary table a little bit to be able to make it a little bit more useful. For example, if I have the ages of children attending a church service this past week, I would need to have 18 rows on my table to be able to show all of the children from ages 0 to 17. But instead of doing that, I want to use what's called a class. And a class or classes are groupings of the data. And so instead of thinking about each row having just one age for these children that we're thinking about, we might clump together a group of children who are near each other in age. So I might say 0 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 10, something like that. And that's what we're going to work on next, is thinking about that. If we do groupings for our data, we are doing what's called a grouped frequency distribution. So we would use classes, which are groupings of data, instead of using single data points. Like we did on our pets, we used a single data point for each row. If we're trying to use classes and grouped frequency distributions, we would use groups of data for each row instead of a single data point. The class width is going to be the number of distinct data points that we would put into one class. And you can find the class width by saying the upper minus the lower for the interval. You should use the same class width for every class. So if we decide that we're going to put 4 ages onto the first class, in the first row, for example, we should put 4 ages for the second class and the third class and the fourth class. We don't want to put 3 years in the first one and then 2 in the second and 4 in the third. That wouldn't work as well in terms of comparing the information. So that's the background behind using a grouped frequency distribution, and let's take a look at an example of that right now.